such a cool memory when the first time Mark and I were, wow, we've got to save our pocket money to buy one of those. It was like that, and we did. We both got them at the same time.
Yeah, you'll be determined if you really kind
Loved it, absolutely. And like I said, the power these things had, they were really powerful. So you could fire them a long way and crack a window if you needed to. I don't encourage it, but for kids, it was in the 60s. It was allowed. That was when a police officer, if he grabbed hold of you as a kid, because you did something like that, he'd give you a whack round the head. And then, because you would be crying and say, go and tell your mother why I did it to you. Because when you did, your mother hit you as well.
Oh yeah.
She would, she'd give you a whack as well.
Yep.
So, that's how it was dealt with then. And most police officers like that were pretty fair. They were. They would be alright to you. If you were nice to them, they'd be nice to you. If you weren't getting up to mischief, you could have a nice chat with them. Some of them were really funny. But they were village bobbies. They were ones from villages and stuff. They weren't like the ones in cities and stuff. I suppose that's a different thing. Because when we lived in Derby, Christ, once, Mark and I, because the rag and bone man used to come along with his horse and cart. Ragbone, and he would stop.
What was it?
Rag and bone men. So it was rags and they used to collect bones, I suppose. I don't know what the bone bit. I do know, but I can't remember that. Anyways, immaterial.
Bones.
So the rag and bone man.
Is it because are they putting it on China?
Yeah, it's bone meal, stuff like that. So you put your old bones and stuff like that in the thing. Most people used to give them to their dogs, but if you did, you could put it on the bone maker. Anyway, rag and bone maker. And he, because obviously we used to see all the bed spreads, there could be bits of iron, there's boilers, everything's in there. Really quite cool.
Yeah.
So we used to watch him go past, and sometimes we'd stop and somebody would put stuff on there and we'd have a look around and say hello to the horse and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And then there was a price on the side of there. And Mark said, God, look at the price of lead. So Mark said to the chap on there, he said, where will we find some lead then? He said, look around you boys. You see all that on top of those roofs? That's all lead. There's lead everywhere. Oh, all right then. Thanks. So obviously then it was after that, it was like, well, we'll have some of that then. It's worth a fortune, this lead. Because all the bombed out sites, it's already been stripped out. So there's Mark and I. I'm only 7. He's only 8. On top of the roof, trying to get this bit round the chimney block bit, because obviously that's like a thick round, so we're trying to get this bit off there. And somebody down on the road has seen us, said, what the hell do you two think you're doing? So we're thinking, oh shit, no. So we start running along the eave to the next chimney breast to get round that. The guy's outside now comes out from the house that owns it, and he's running up the street shouting, somebody get the police, you thieving, if I get my hands on you, I'm gonna skin you. It was like that. And Mark and I, we got literally down a drain pipe we got another section, because obviously you can't get to the back. So we just went down a drain pipe and then jumped into that back garden, went to their back garden, got into that one and came out on the main road. So we were away, because he didn't realise that we lived 3 doors down. We weren't daft, we didn't go straight home. He didn't know who we were, he hadn't seen us, so we were cool. So it was alright, but we didn't do that again. We never did that, that was just being daft. And the other one, and this is a true story, yeah? Again, same age. We then have been there quite a while. It was not long before we were going to be leaving. So we've been there for over a year in Derby, yeah. So you know lots of kids and stuff like that. And there was loads of times when these kids would be doing something unbelievably daft. Because they were a lot older than us, they were teenagers.
Okay.
So obviously teenagers, now they're more fun because they're going to get into serious mischief. So we can watch this serious mischief at afar, because they're the ones who are going to get caught. We're not, because we're going to run over like hell. Because you get them. They'd see a car that had been sort of left there for a while because the wheels had been nipped off it and stuff. So the next thing after that, when everybody's stripped as much as they can out of it, is who's going to be putting the rag in there and setting fire to the petrol tank.
Oh.
So that was a regular one that was. So I've seen a few of those go up in smoke. Somebody set fire to it. Okay, you look from off a distance. But this was particular time. They said, oh, they're giving away free popcorn and stuff down at the ice cream place, because the ice cream place that we knew as kids was a depot where all the ice cream vans come out from, and they stock up, and the actual vans themselves have got all the cones in there, all the popcorn and all the other bits and pieces, the ice lollies and stuff. So that was pretty close to where we used to live, and they have these great big gates. So they said, oh, they're giving away free popcorn and stuff, why don't you come down? Okay. They said, but the only thing is now, they're giving this away, but but it's a bit of a game, you know, because we need you to make sure that nobody, if they're walking along here, is walking along while we're inside.
Oh my God.
We're kids, we didn't give a toss what they wanted. So, yeah, of course we could do that. Yeah, I'll keep an eye
Are they
out.
stealing?
Well, it wasn't until, because obviously they'd been gone about a minute, when the first polythene bag, and inside this polythene bag must be about 30 bags of popcorn, probably 50 bags of popcorn. Popcorn's not heavy, so it must be about 50 bags of popcorn. Came flying over this gate and landed on the pavement about 3 feet away from me. And then another one comes over, and this one's got ice cream cones in it. Then another one comes over, and it's got more popcorn. And there's loads of these coming over, and you're thinking, this isn't right.
Yeah.
I thought I'm expecting the gate to open. We're looking out to make sure that when they open the gate, a car doesn't hit or something. This is what I'm thinking. We're not going to look out in case somebody comes because they're nicking this stuff.
I got it.
You never
I was
know. So
starting.
there was bags of crisps, there was popcorn, there was the cones, then there was the boxes, because obviously they were heavier, and they literally just threw those and just to tell us watch out because they hit the ground and went bust open, and then there were all the ice lollies in there. Honest to God. So yeah, when we went home that night, I must have had 10 bags of popcorn, and so did Mark. And I had ice cream. We'd eat loads of ice creams, these ice lollies with the cones and stuff, with the ice cream cones. Honest to God, it was so funny. You couldn't eat anymore. You couldn't eat anymore.
Sure.
It was so funny. Yeah, it was a good memory. Yeah.
That's quite.
I don't condone stealing from factories, but this is a different time. It's a different time.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're young as well.
And I was only a kid, and I didn't know what the hell was. I didn't know what the. And of course, after a while, I realised that's what was happening, but it was like, sod it, I don't care. It got a little bit like that. In the end, if I'd stayed in Derby, I'm pretty sure I would have gone out nicking cars and stuff, guaranteed, because that's what all the other kids did. And that's the truth of it. Everybody did it. Do you want to do those veggies now? That's been in there now an hour and 15 minutes. So that must be cooked.
Yeah.
If potatoes are doing nicely, so
Yeah.
20 minutes at the time they're done, the veggies,
Yeah.
perfect. So I put them on now, and that'll do. So yeah, that's another memory when I was a kid.
That's a nice
back to
one.
cars. One last car.
Can I put this to be roasted, the mushroom? I think it must be nice. Do you think?
You have to wet them with something.
I have to cook them, boil them,
No, if you're
saute
gonna-
them.
Yeah, with something before they go into there to be baked. Otherwise, they're just going to go dry, aren't they? Just shrivel up, and they won't be really nice at all.
I was saying, okay, why don't I just boil it? Can I?
Yeah, just boil them. I really want them boiled with the cabbage. Put them in together
Yeah.
and boil them together.
No, I'm not gonna boil them. I'm going to saute them with onions.
Oh, do that. Wok them to death. I don't mind. Not to death. Just wok them. That'd be perfect. Yeah, that'd be good. I like that actually. I like the cabbage done like that. I don't mind.
I
Anyway.
will do it with my.
The last car I'm going to mention in this particular film, I hope I've not too much. How long have we been recording now? Let's check because then I know what we got. 48 minutes. So that's not counting the first film. There's definitely 2 films in this, not 3. So we're good to go. So getting back to last part of the film now, and the one that we had for quite a while. We moved from Muckford, so we moved to Great Hallmead, and that was the first council house we'd ever had. All the other houses, except the one in Derby, we owned the one in Derby. Well, we had a mortgage on it. That was the first mortgage and the last mortgage we ever had. The rest of them were retired cottages because the house or cottage came with the job. So we lived on pig farms most of the time. There might be Arable as well, but most of them were pig farms. Yeah, Hobbs Crossing is near Thaden Boyce, near Epic.
Oh.
We lived there. I love that because we just come out of Derby and we went there, and it's a dairy farm. And there, further from it, there was 2 farms. The other farm was the farm that had the pigs, but we actually lived on the dairy farm side of it, which is about half a mile away. And one at the top of it was a golf course. There was loads of woods at the side of us, in the woods where the people used to do loads of shooting and stuff. So again, the shooting part of it came into it. Love that. I tell you now, that was probably the happiest part of ever in my childhood.
That's cool.
Was when we lived in 1968-69, when we lived there. That was my happiest I've ever been. That's what I'm saying. You never knew when you were going to get another adventure. You never knew when you were going to be moving house again. My mum would say, let's put it this way. So, North Wales to Yodersley, Yodersley to Derby, Derby to Hobbs Cross to Brapping in Hertfordshire, Brapping to Muckford, which is near Dassels, about 3 miles up the road, less than that, mile and a half up the road from Brapping, and there to Great Hallmead when I was 12. So all these different places we lived, and they're all farms except for Derby. So no, that part of it, and going up to North Wales where my stepfather's parents were from, our grandparents from that side, and we loved North Wales. We lived there, like I said, when I was 3 and stuff like that. We lived in North Wales, so still love it. I love that place. Yeah, Cranberries and stuff. We lived in Tennyson for a while, which is near Penny Groves.
All right.
So yeah,
we went there, didn't we not?
You and I have been there. Yeah, they're cool. You can still see the school. We will do that as a trip, and I will go through memory lane and go to show you all these different places.
Yeah,
because they are really cool. So yeah, we had. So yeah,
quite
that
nice.
part of my childhood had some fantastic adventures.